Hello, this is Mr. Staleman, the creator of Inscribed Heartstealer, and we are going to be playing through the first 7 days of Inscribed Heartstealer. So what I have on my screen right now, on my right, I have the template for the game. I have already rolled for my character. I'm playing as a warden. They have 3 fortitude, 1 finesse, 2 familiarity, and 2 faith. They already have their 3 cards here, the 3 cards being the 3 of hearts, the 5 of hearts, and the 10 of clubs, which we'll go over when we reach a combat encounter. And I have their current and their max health listed here. Over here on my left, I have the Inscribed Heartstealer visual guide. I wanted a visual reference in order to show what we were going to be doing when we are starting day 1 within the game. And as you can see here, written down here on step 6, we begin day 1 on step F. So step F is to determine the weather. Now, before we can even determine the weather, we have to choose on step 5 what our starting location is, right? I drew the coast, so I would be starting here. And if we go to my character sheet, you can see that I've already marked D1 for day 1 on my character sheet here. Going over to this side here, you can see now that I've marked it with day 1, I'm gonna go over to our coast section and see what the weather is going to be like. So if I roll a 1 or a 2, I'm gonna get thunderstorms. If I roll a 3 or a 4, I'm gonna get dense fog. And if I roll a 5 or a 6, I'm gonna get clear skies. Now, if I am playing through the game, it might be difficult to leaf through the document going up and down over and over and over again. So I also created a reference sheet that has all of this information localized into one area. So not only are your steps in a given day located here, the weather is located here, as well as your scenario table. This scenario table doesn't change. This will tell you what you are doing on a given day, along with your night scenario table, which we'll get to when we get to day 3, and your event symbols and such. We're gonna start by rolling for our weather. We're determining our weather. We have our weather die over here. This is the weather plus scenario die. I use it general use case for most things. So I'm gonna roll, and I rolled a 1. So a 1, if we are looking at our weather, we are starting off with thunderstorms. So by the end of the day, I'm going to be losing 1d6 items at dusk. So at dusk, right, before we eat food, we are losing 1d6 items. This would mean that if we go to our character sheet, I have right now 1 warding stone, 1 spark stone, and 5 rations. This would be the items that are being considered at this point in time. If I rolled a 6, I would have to throw away all of this. If I rolled a 1, I would only have to throw away 1 of these things. So it is currently not looking too hot. Let's roll for our scenario. Our scenario was a 3. If we look at our reference sheet, the 3 to 5 range for the scenario table is that we are drawing an experience from the deck of fates. So the deck of fates is going to have a number of options available to us. We are going to shuffle the deck of fates, and we're going to draw the top card and flip it over. And we got a red queen. Now, shorthand, red cards are combat encounters, and black cards are challenges. Challenges are overcome through the use of your factors, and you can either roll for an option, or you are given an option based off of your character class, or some other thing allows you to acquire certain benefits and drawbacks within the challenge, while a combat encounter is purely an engagement with a series of opponents. So this red Q is going to be telling us what our combat encounter is going to be. So I will go down to the coast here, and I'm in my coast encounters. I go to the Q, and I find the Cavern Mole. Your travels through the tunnels of the coast reveal a rather lucrative offshoot. Tracks dug in the earth glitter with flecks of gold and silver. the telltale signs of a cavern mole nest. You see their bulbous black hide, and behind it, their hoard of shining baubles. So, I have the ability right now to fight against the cavern mole. There's only one cavern mole. If I go and open my options here, I can go scroll all the way down to the monster library. And in the monster library, I will go to the coast section. And in the coast section, I will see the cavern mole. The cavern mole has 26 health. At the end of each round, it's going to roll a 1d6, and on a 5 or higher, the cavern mole will retreat. It'll run away. It has 26 health, and all of its actions when it rolls is to gain block. It's only going to prevent damage on itself. If I successfully kill the cavern mole, I will get a loot card. I'll get its mole pelt. I will get 1d6 media luna, which is one of the currencies in the game, and I will get 2 soldado, which is another currency in the game. If we look at our character sheet here, 16 media luna equals 1 plenilunio, 8 plenilunio equals 1 soldado. This is a cultural touchstone within the game itself, as they are a group of creatures, kin, that use the celestial bodies and refer to them as deities, and their money reflects that, these being the phases of the moon and the sun. So right now I have a choice to make, because if we go back to our coast encounter, we saw that there was a section shown where we could choose, instead of fighting the cavern mole and attempting to acquire the benefits that the cavern mole will give us, we can refuse to harm the cavern mole. And in refusing to harm the cavern mole, we will draw a loot card, which will give us a piece of equipment. Now we can try to fight it. However, at 26 health, I would need to be dealing a lot of damage. So let's see sort of the idea that we have right now. If I were to shuffle my cards, I have the 3 of hearts, and I have the 5 of hearts. Mind you, while we are speaking about all of this, we also have our weather influencing the way that we are looking at this scenario. Now, we got thunderstorms. Thunderstorms not only cause us to lose items at the end of the day, but as you can see here, we are dealing 1 less harm than we should. With our warden, the only sources of harm that the warden has comes from their use of their dagger. It's going to be dealing harm equal to the amount of finesse that I have, which is at a 1. It is going to be dropped by 1 to 0. So effectively, this warden's dagger is not going to be useful when dealing harm against the opponent. And my 3 and my 5 of hearts, if I refer to my warden action book here, my 3 of hearts is going to be dealing 6 harm down to 5. And my flurry of blows is my only upgraded card, as you can see here. And that will be dealing 5 harm down to 4. So effectively, I have the ability to deal about 9 harm a turn, spending 1 energy on my opener, spending 0 energy on my flurry of blows. I only have 1 energy to spend. There are calculations that could be made. I could potentially get lucky, and the enemy, if I choose right now to roll what they're going to roll, they rolled a 2. At rolling a 2, going back down to the cavern mole, at rolling a 2, the 2 means that they are going to be simply gaining 3 block. So if I deal 9 damage this turn, and then they gain 3 block, I would be dealing a maximum of 6 damage potentially the next turn. And we need to go and kill it at 26. Okay? Right now its health is at 26 health. I do not feel like I have enough damage to kill it outright. There are some options that I have. I could expend some items that I have in my inventory. Rajan, the stalwart, this warden, starts with a sparkstone. You might be wondering, well, what is a sparkstone? We go down to our item list, and our sparkstone is listed on the side here. We would be dealing 4 harm, and then we deal 4 harm to the selected target each round. Now, that would be very useful. A single target attack, dealing 4 harm every round, and the enemy that is suffering this 4 harm at the start of every round, that would be consistent and it's unaffected by the thunderstorm. So we deal 4 harm, and then at the start of the next round, we deal another 4 harm, which would remove this block that they would have, and that could see us potentially secure a victory. However, there is a 2 in 6 chance, if it rolls a 5 or a 6, that it runs away before I can kill it, and I'm left with nothing. So I have a choice to make, whether or not to allow for it to run away and not do anything to it, or to try and take it down. Now, in my position right now, I don't have enough raw damage to clear it out as quickly as I would want to. So instead of trying to risk it this early in the game, what I'm going to do is simply allow it to run away. Now, I could simulate it rolling over and over and over again, but if I'm, as a player, stating that I am not choosing to harm this monster and it is going to run away, we have every right to say, well, this combat encounter is over. I'm going to mark that we have cleared this combat encounter within my event and encounter tracker. I'm going to go to the coast, going to mark down that the Red Queen has been crossed off our list here. And then from there, I'm going to say that we did not kill the Cavern Mole. Because we didn't kill the Cavern Mole, we do not get the experience that we would get. We didn't draw for money. We don't get to draw for our remembrances and such. We just get the chance to draw for a loot card. So a loot card is going to refer to our loot card pool in our equipment list section, and it could be one of any number of these potential pieces of equipment. Personally, I'm very hopeful that we are going to get a piece of equipment that can replace the current weapon that we have on hand, maybe provide us with an accessory of some sort that could increase the energy that we have. So I'm going to shuffle and I'm going to draw. The top card is a club, a queen of clubs. I'm going to go down to the clubs section. The club section is right here. Sound Mind. Basic harm and block cost 1 less energy. As you can see here, our basic harm and our basic block cost 1 energy. So now every turn I have the ability to use our basic harm or my basic block for free, which is going to be useful since it'll combo with our warden's other abilities, momentum specifically. The idea of the more actions that I generate, it will allow for other actions to trigger, specifically my flurry of blows, which will allow me to return my flurry of blows to the top of my stack if I am at or reach the momentum at the time of using the action. So I would need to come up with a way of using one more action in order to get flurry of blows, because there's already a combination that's being created, right? We can use the warden's dagger, then we can use the opener, that's 2 actions, then we use the basic attack, that's a 3rd action. We're missing 1 more action before we can use flurry of blows, and then once we do that, we would trigger its effect that will return it to the top of our pile. And from here, we are already thinking at the end of our very first encounter what we might be able to do in order to progress the game forward for our character in the future. Sort of already building, theory crafting the way that we can push our advantage for the future. So I'm going to type down that we have sound mind onto our character sheet here. Sound mind, the cost is null, and basic block and basic harm and block actions cost 1 less energy. So I've already dealt with that scenario. After dealing with this scenario, acquiring my accessory from the loot card, I move on through to the next stage. I will enter dusk. I'm going to roll for how much stuff I lose, and I lost a total of 3 things. Now, considering the amount of items that I have here, the amount of food that I have, I'm going to choose to remove 3 rations out of my 5. Leaves me down with simply 2 rations. Rations here being allowing you to heal for 1 point of damage, because damage carries over from combat encounter to combat encounter. And because we are on day 1, day 1 is a point in the game where we are not rolling for night encounters just yet. That is something that occurs on the 3rd day. It's written in the calendar section at the very beginning of the game. I wanted to make it very clear for everyone that when we reach this night section in our steps in a turn, that this only happens after day 3, the 3rd of nets. So we do not determine a night scenario. We would rest. Resting would mean that we would recover our health, but we didn't suffer any damage, and we move on to the next day. Our character is well rested. We can choose now to go up to 1J. We could choose to go to the right to 2I into the plain section, or we could choose to go down to 1H. Now, I am partial to going towards the closest town that we have available, right? Why would we go anywhere else? So I'm going to mark on my calendar, first and foremost, that we have cleared day 1. Day 1 is done. No more day 1. Then I'm going to mark that day 2, I'm going to go up to 1J. Now from here, I'm going to, again, marked my calendar, reset any once a day items. I don't have any equipment to manage because I'm not changing any equipment right now. I've moved to a different tile, and now I'm determining the weather again. So in determining the weather, I get a 5, which is fantastic. Clear skies, nothing happens. I'm not worried about the weather. Our scenario is a 4. We experience another experience from the deck of fates. We're going to shuffle the deck here, draw and flip. We get a red 4. So that means, again, a combat encounter. This time, hopefully, we are experiencing a proper fight. So a 4 of a red 4, if we go to our coast section, coast encounters, the red 4, 3 hollowed kin. Your path leads you through a tunnel. The walls are cramped and the light is dim. You hear them at once deep inside, scratching at the walls before attempting to scratch at you. So the hollowed kin are the creatures that we have to fight, and the bonus challenge that we have for this combat encounter is to defeat all of the enemies without suffering harm in combat. So the express thing that I'm trying to do is not get hurt during this combat encounter, in order to get another loot card and potentially add another piece of equipment to our list. We go down to our monster library section. The monster library is right here. The hollowed kin are coast creatures. They are the first one here. They all have a total of 5 health. So 5, 5, and 5. So they are all going to roll their actions. This one is dealing 2 harm, this one is dealing 1 harm, and this one is dealing 3 harm. So we have the ability to target our enemy at in any order we can choose, right? We draw the 5 of hearts and we draw the 10 of clubs. Now the 5 of hearts, if we go to our action book section, is the flurry of blows. We would be dealing 5 harm. We can automatically kill one of these enemies, and we should, right? However, if we are trying to avoid harm here, we have to keep in mind that we need block before we deal that harm, because when slain, in this passive here that they have, when slain, they're going to roll a 1d6, and on a 5 or a 6, they could potentially deal 2 harm to me. So I want to block whatever harm they are going to deal. With this 10 of clubs here, we have a block action. We have 2 block and we gain 1 thorn, which means that when the enemy hits us, we are going to be dealing 1 damage back to them. I need to block for 3 because the amount of harm that I'm going to be suffering this round is 2 from this person, 1 from this person, and 3 from this person, which is going to be a total of 6 harm. And this isn't going to cut it. So what are my options? Well, the Warden starts with a shield. They start with the Moonlight Shield. It costs 1 energy, and the energy that I have is going to be provide me with my faith plus my fortitude level of block. So my faith is at a 2, my fortitude is at a 3. I would be blocking for 5 harm, and if I have block remaining after the enemy has harmed me, then that means that they are going to take faith harm back. So they're going to take 2 damage every time that they hit me if I have any block remaining after they've hit me. So the first course of action is that I'm going to spend my only energy and I'm going to use my Moonlight Shield. It seems like the best thing to do in this scenario. And I'm going to gain 5 block. Then I'm going to spend my basic action to give myself an additional block, because now we have Sound Mind, and our basic harm and block actions cost 1 less energy. It's free. I can add an additional block to myself. So already off to a good start. If I didn't do anything else, the enemy would be blocked in its entirety, and I would be within the conditions to acquire that item. But I'm busy trying to fight these creatures, so I'm going to use my 5 of hearts, the flurry of blows, and I'm going to hit this enemy unit. This creature is going to die. This is 5 harm. That has 5 health. It dies, which means that the amount of harm that it would be dealing is gone. We lower this by 3, and then it's going to roll, and it rolled a 2. So that means that it didn't explode, it didn't deal harm upon exiting the battlefield, and I still have this 6 block. So the enemies are going to go, as I have nothing else that I can do with my turn. I'm going to discard the remaining card that I have, as at the end of every round, I discard the cards that I have available, and I bring in the new cards that I have. And this enemy is going to deal 2 harm, right? That enemy is dealing 2 harm, and I deal 2 harm back at it because of my faith, since I have block remaining. So it has 3 health, and then this is going to deal 1 harm, and it's going to take 2 harm because of the block remaining. The block that you carry as on your character disappears at the end of the round. This is very similar to Slay the Spire. The combat conditions that occur sort of reset within round per round. There are certain things that stick around from round to round, but the block resets, our cards reset, etc., etc. So our energy comes back up to 1. Our block is down to 0. The enemies roll their actions. This one's rolling to deal 3 harm. This one's rolling to deal 2 harm. I draw, and then I place these cards back into my action stack because I don't have the ability to draw another card right now. I'm going to shuffle these cards, and hopefully I get the card that I want, which would be the Flurry of Blows. And I did. So with the Flurry of Blows, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use the same course of action that I did before. I'm going to use my Moonlight Shield. I'm going to give myself 5 block. I'm going to use my basic block, give myself 6 block total. I'm going to spend my Flurry of Blows to kill this target, right? This one's dealing 3 harm, this one's dealing 2. I'm going to kill this unit. They are going to die. I'm going to roll. They dealt a 6 upon exiting. So my block would go down by 2, since it's dealing 2 harm when it's slain. I don't have to worry about this though, because the only enemy that's remaining is this enemy unit, and it could only deal 2 harm to me. My current block is at 4. I don't have any energy to kill it right now, so this would be the end of my turn. It's going to deal its 2 harm to me. I'm going to have block remaining, which deals 2 harm to it. It only has 1 point of health remaining. So by this point, I am going to draw my card, reset my energy, turn this block to 0, have the die for the die action for the character move, which in this instance is unnecessary because you and I both know that this is a foregone conclusion. We're going to flip this, shuffle, draw. It's going to be the 3. I'm going to use my shield, give myself 5 block, and this time instead of using my free action to deal, or in my free action to give myself 1 additional block, I'm going to use my free action to deal 1 harm to the enemy. The enemy is dead since it only had 1 health left. It's going to leave me with no lasting harm, and I've effectively completed this combat encounter without taking any damage. Now we go through our victory conditions. My reference sheet at the bottom here not only has a battle tracker and all of the terms used within a combat, right, the glossary, but this is the reward reminder. So we start with step 1. Step 1, we gain 1d6 Media Luna per monster slain. So I'm gonna roll here. This unit gave me 6 Media Luna. This unit gave me 1 Media Luna. This unit gave me 5 Media Luna. So 12 total. I'm gonna write that down onto my character sheet. I have 12 Media Luna. Next, on my reference sheet, I'm gonna add any monster rewards. Do these monsters drop anything? They do. They drop Media Luna. So I'm gonna roll again. Roll this one. This one dropped 2. This one dropped 1. And this one dropped 3. So 6 extra coins in my pocket from killing these Hallowed Kin. Oh, that would be 18, not 16. So after that, we have any bonus rewards if the bonus challenge was completed. I succeeded in taking 0 harm within this combat encounter. So that means that I get the pleasure of shuffling the stack, drawing a jack of hearts. This Jack of Hearts is going to mean, oh, wrong sheet. This Jack of Hearts is going to mean that we might be getting a weapon of some kind, if I remember correctly. The Jack of Hearts is located right here. It's a compound shield. So it's not a weapon, as I was hoping, but it is a shield. It is the compound shield, which its passive is that we gain 3 harden if we did not block last turn. Harden increases the amount of block that we give ourselves. This isn't that useful on the Warden because I already have a shield, and the shield that I'm currently using provides me with the utility of dealing harm, which is something that my character is currently suffering. They lack in that department. But we're going to write down that we have the compound shield. We could potentially sell it when we go into town. We have the compound shield. And then finally, we choose to remember, reinforce, or regret. Now, this is the bread and butter of the game, right? When we are playing in Inscribed Heartstealer, whenever we've finished a combat encounter, or in some instances where the challenges provide us with the ability to add cards into our action stack, we have the ability to remember, reinforce, or regret. So when we remember, we have our deck of memories here. We would draw 2 cards, and then we could select one of the 2 cards and add them to our action stack. We could reinforce our cards. So instead of drawing from the deck of memories, we would simply draw the top card of the action stack and upgrade one of the cards that we have available. Or we could choose to regret and remove the top card that is currently in our action stack. Because as this is a deck builder, there are going to be some instances where you want to trim the fat for your deck. Now, in this instance, my character sorely needs additional damage. So I'm going to roll or shuffle the deck of memories, and I'm going to draw 2 cards. Oops, this is going to be, there we go. I'm going to draw 2 cards. I drew the Ace of Diamonds and the 5 of Clubs. Offhand, I know that any club card is going to be a block card of some kind. Any red card is going to be harm of some kind. If we go to our Warden section here, I'm not even looking at the 5 of Clubs right now because it's a block, and I don't need block right now, right? I need damage, and the Ace of Diamonds allows me to deal 3 plus 1 harm, because the color combination here, red equals fortitude, Y equals finesse, and combo 2. It would allow me to use my dagger twice, which now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't even employ the use of my dagger in this combat encounter. But that's besides the point. Overextend would be fantastic if it didn't also prevent me from acting next turn. It would effectively leave me defenseless for a turn. I can't afford to do that. Now, in most other deck builders, this would be sort of the end of the decision making that you had. But in this one, this game allows you to use your mulligans that you saved from your combat encounter to affect the card rewards that you receive at the end of the encounter. Because you only have a total of 52 cards, you might as well try to draw the best ones that you can. And it rewards positive play and not pulling into your mulligans when playing in this manner. Now, in this instance, this is going to be a minor note. Playingcards.io is the template in which I am using this, and I would highly recommend that you subscribe if you are interested in using playingcards.io in order to play this game, because they are a fantastic company. They did not sponsor me for this, but I do believe that they can run this entire operation without anything on my end. So I feel like it behooves me to at least advocate for the platform. So anyway, I do not want these cards. I'm going to put them back. I'm going to put my mulligan down to 1. I'm going to shuffle, and I'm going to draw again. I'm going to draw 3 of spades or 4 of diamonds. 3 of spades is not harm. This is going to be a momentum-based thing. I don't really want it. A 4 of diamonds is going to be crush. Now, I could deal 5 harm, and with my mastery, my mastery being with a shield, mastery here being if you have the equipment, it does the secondary effect. I have a shield, I would be able to apply my fortitude amount of vulnerable, and vulnerable means that the enemy takes additional harm from your next harm action. But the problem here is that the cost for crush is 2, and I only have 1 energy. So in this instance, while I would love to use this card, while I would love to add it to my deck, I don't have the energy necessary to use this card right now. I need something else. So I'm going to use my mulligan one more time. I'm going to end up not having any more mulligans. So whatever we get, we don't get upset. We shuffle. Oh, that's not supposed to be doing that. We shuffle, and then we draw 2. So it's a 2 of spades or a 10 of spades. So we didn't luck out on this. We might have lucked out on this. So at the start of each round, reduce the harm dealt by all enemies by 1, and then we delete this card. This is a persistent effect, which means that the effect is going to persist from round to round. This might make a defensive build useful, because if we remember, we have Prickly Protection, which provides us with 1 thorn every time that we use it and 2 block. If I can combine this thorn with my shield and the other block that I would have available, this might mean that I'm just going to kill the enemy very slowly, like a tank, kill them slowly with their own damage. So I'm going to add Thundering Roar into my action stack. I'm going to put this card back into the deck of memories. I'm going to go into Dusk. I didn't take any harm, so I don't have to worry about anything. The weather, it doesn't affect me either because we had clear skies. The rest occurs and the end of the day is upon us. I'm going to mark down that I succeeded in clearing the red 4 encounter on the coast, and that would be the end of day 2. I hope that you, with just the first 2 days, saw that there was a lot of tactical decision making that came with the game and sort of the considerations that will come from all of the decisions that each facet of the game presents to you. Now, I didn't play perfectly. I didn't play it the most efficient that I could have. I mean, I forgot to use a piece of equipment that I had available. But that is something that the game expects. I don't expect that when you are playing the game that you are a machine perfectly capable of considering every and all options. There have oftentimes been the case where I will go back to an encounter that I thought I had lost, go into it and see how things could have been differently if I had simply remembered to use an item that I did have in my inventory that I didn't have at the time, because the game expects that mistakes will happen, as we are human playing a game made by humans. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider purchasing Inscribed Heartstealer, adding it onto itch.io, onto your itch account, and have a wonderful night. I hope to bring you more of our actual play next time. This has been Mr. Staleman, the creator of Inscribed Heartstealer, signing off.